Moving on to the next story, the Syrian army has liberated more territory from foreign-backed militants in its operations in the city of Aleppo. Government forces advanced from 3 fronts in Massaken, Hennano, East Aleppo's largest district. According to the so-called Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, troops have taken control of 60% of the neighborhood. The UK-based monitoring group says clashes are underway in the area. The Syrian army surrounded the militant-held eastern part of the flashpoint city in July, severing its supply lines. Terrorists remain holed up there, refusing to surrender, despite repeated warnings from Damascus. The liberation of East Aleppo would represent the Syrian army's biggest victory in the 5-year conflict, dealing a potentially decisive blow to the militants. Rana Kassis is author and Syrian opposition figure who joins us to tell us more about Aleppo and beyond. Rana Kassis, the developments in Aleppo obviously point to a imminent victory by the Syrian army and Assad forces along with Russian support. But I'd like to refer, due to the limited time, to the recent meeting that you had. This would happen in Paris, and you said in your Facebook page, Syria's opposition got hope about the political process to move forward with Russia and the U.S. This in the meeting with Donald Trump Jr. You were very optimistic. Is there any indications coming from that meeting that there's going to be Trump support with Russia on Assad and what's going on in Syria?
Yes, I'm really optimistic. First of all, Donald Trump Jr. has been invited by the CPFA, the Center for Political and Foreign Affairs in Paris, and to discuss a variety of issues, including the Syrian issue. So, because I'm, the co-president of the delegation of Syrian Secular in Geneva talks, I'm really concerned about my country, and I'm concerned about civilians who are currently suffering. So we discussed and we both agreed that it's really a need to reach an agreement between Russia and the United States. And this agreement is the political process in Syria. So there are, a lot of issues in Syria. It's not only the political process, there is the fighting against terrorism, against radical Islam too. But we can't separate. So we can't just say that, okay, we have to fight against terrorism, and then we're going to talk about the political process. I think we have to work together to have this agreement and fight and to find a cooperation between Russia and the United States.
When you talk about this cooperation, Trump is right now in his transition phase. He will officially become the U.S. president roughly in about 50 days, but in the theater of war, 50 days could be a very long time. Are there any types of contacts that are going on currently in order to set up for a platform to be launched immediately when Trump takes over the presidency?
So, the discussion will continue. And in 1 week, I'll go to Russia, to Moscow, to meet Mr. Mikhail Bogdanov to talk about this process, how we can just relaunch this political process in Geneva. I don't think that we can do anything this year. We have to wait for 2017, but I have really a lot of hope, and I'm working really hard with other Syrians to relaunch this political process in Geneva at the beginning of the next year.
There's a new incoming UN chief that's going to be, that has already taken power, and many hopes are being pinned on him to also be a much more revitalizing factor when it comes to this conflict. Do you see any hopes from that end in order to be any positive advances on Syria?
Yes, I see. The victory of the elected President Donald Trump is really a good thing for us, for all Syrians, because so he likes pragmatic, realistic, and he knows that it's impossible just to find a way out, to stop the bloodshed in Syria without the cooperation with Russia or between Russia and the United States first. So yeah, we hope that at the beginning of the next year we can just start to work together and to find really a way. So that's what, you know, it's useless to continue considering Russia as an enemy. You know, we must move past this Cold War mentality.
And finally and quickly, aside from obviously Russia and the U.S., there are other players, most notably U.S. allies that are in the region. We can talk about or mention Saudi Arabia, for example. How do you see these countries playing out in this war, given the fact that we're looking at what's happening on the field right now, and that is Aleppo, and the advances that are being made by the Syrian army? How do you think they're going to react?
Yeah, you know, there is a lot of questions about a lot of countries in the region. So, for example, the big question, so Saudi Arabia will continue financing and supporting the radical Islamist and the terrorist groups in Syria? That's the question. I think we have to start with an agreement between Russia and the United States. And if we will succeed, so we can start with other countries, and why not maybe with Turkey and Iran before the Saudi Arabia.
If you were to give a timeline as a guess as to how long this war is going to continue, many are saying it's going to continue for years to come. Do you see it that way?
Yes. You know, even if we really, we will succeed to find a way or find a...
Seems like we lost Rana Kassis there. That was Rana Kassis talking to us, author and Syrian opposition figure, talking to us there from Athens.